Reiranga tira mā tēnā tātou katoa, ko waiau, no te waka o te arawa, mai makitu ki tongariro, i te taho tōku pāpā no Raukawa Ngāti Huri, i te taho tōku māma no Ngāti Kahungunu Ngāti Mihiroa, tēnā tātou katoa. It's so good to be here this morning. I just have to say, I'm totally rocking my Black Ferns jersey after we had two great wins. But it's really good to be here today, you know, at I think they're describing this as the hui taumata for Māori governance. But what I'd like you to do, first of all, is look around the room. And some of you would have come here really jaded, because you've got really tough boards, and if you have, don't put your hand up, but I think that you probably know who you are. If you name your iwi, I'll definitely know those members of your board that are tough to deal with. You know, some of you will be new, and so you'll be super excited about, you know, the opportunity to be here. And some of you who are like me have had over 30 years of experience working in governance. So, you know, I just want to say to you all, take in everything, look around the room, share your experiences with your whānau, because often we don't get the chance to come together, you know, and really celebrate who we are. I have to be honest, this morning I actually thought about my speech at 4 a.m. And because, you know, I'm talking about some really topical things in terms of how do you receive mandate to represent your people, how do you keep that mandate to represent your people, and then actually the key thing, one of the key things in keeping the mandate is actually around how do you make those courageous decisions, particularly when you're the only Māori in the room. So that's what I'm going to talk about in 17 minutes and 21 seconds. So hopefully I don't go over that time. You know, I won't go through all the different boards that I'm on, but certainly I've had the great opportunity to be on those boards. And if I think about my own history in terms of, you know, governance, really it comes down to three things, and I'll talk about those today. So whakapapa, understanding how your whakapapa really speaks to how you receive that mandate. It also talks about service, so about continuous service to your people. And then more importantly, in terms of how you keep the mandate, is getting results. You know, so whānau, it's not actually good enough just to turn up and read your papers. Okay, it's not actually good enough just to be there holding a seat. You actually, as a committee member, need to achieve results. When I was thinking about this, you know, to be honest, I was thinking this is a pretty maroke subject to talk about and pretty hard to talk about. And so what I'm going to do is use rugby, because actually that's my passion. I love sports, I love rugby. And so I'm going to talk about being invited to play in the game, actually playing in the game, winning the game, and then you get invited to come back to the game. And so I'll use my sports analogy. When I first started playing rugby, I was very fortunate to go back to my club of Rotuiti, who I'm hugely passionate about because that's where I'm from, Ngāti Pūkeo. I got invited actually to go and play because I could pass both ways, and I was actually the only one who knew how to kick. And so my first game I turned up, and this is what I mean about being invited to play. My first game I turned up and I attempted, this is like epic, I attempted 25 tackles and I missed 23. And so, you know, if you think about when you first go onto a board, you're invited to play, and sometimes you turn up and you think, oh, this is a piece of cake, I've totally got this, until you get smashed. And there'll be a lot of you that have been smashed that have come here today, you know, and what you need to do is that's just part of the game. So the first thing is being invited to play. You know, the next thing is actually playing. So it's one thing to be invited to play and you might sit on the benches, but actually you've got to get on the field and play. And that means that you've got to do a lot of hard work. So you need to understand the core fundamentals of governance. Okay, if you can't read financials, get together with someone who's super brainy, and I've seen some really super brainy people here, and start talking to them about financials. If you don't understand strategy, get with those people that can teach you how to kick, teach you how to pass, teach you how to fall properly so that you don't break your arm when you play rugby. And so those are the things that you must do, okay? So you've got to get on the field and play. And then the next thing that you must do is actually you've got to win. And so I see many people who come on these boards, you're amazing, you're fantastic. In fact, some of the most amazing people I have seen have ended up on the iwi boards and they've flamed out after one rotation, 3 years. Okay, and a lot of that is because, you know, when you turn up, you think, I'm so awesome. I'm everything that my people have wanted. You know, I've got degree ABCD. You know, I know exactly what they need. And then you get an auntie that turns up to you at an AGM and tells you, Karen Vercoe, you're useless, we didn't even vote for you, and then you flame out, you know? And so that's the thing, is that if you want to get mandate, you've got to get on the field, but then you've got to keep the mandate by staying in the fire. So, you know, after my first game, it was epic. My uncle was actually my coach, so he came on the field. My first tackle, I was lying there going, oh my God, I do not want to do this, it's so hard. He came on the field, actually stood over me and said, what the hell, will you get up, you're shaming our family. I was thinking, okay, Uncle, I'm going to get up. I don't want to be ashamed of the whānau. But, you know, it's exactly the same when you've got the mandate and governance. Okay, you don't quit because an auntie tells you you're useless. Now, I was the first wahine Māori chair for a Te Arawa post-settlement governance entity. I got the job, actually it was a bit of a hospital pass, because at that time, I won't say which board I was the chair of, although most of you I think have Googled me on LinkedIn, so you know which one. You know, we were having scraps, and so I think they kind of thought, oh my God, just toss the, you know, who's the one that will kind of be all right. So when they put me in as the chair, and this is so funny, it's not funny. So anyway, we had the voting and I was thinking, oh my God, this is going to be so amazing. I'm going to sit here, you know, I'm going to go and get me a cup of tea so I can figure out who's going to be the chair. Well, they voted me as the chair. So I actually had a panic attack and I said to them, oh whānau, I just need to go out and have a phone call. But actually I was going out thinking, oh my God, I don't want this job. I don't want to be the chair of this board. You know, we're scrapping. And so that's what I mean is you've got to stay in the game. Okay, when it gets tough, you don't go, oh my God, you know, I've arrived here. I am everything they need. Then the auntie's going to tell me, you're useless, Karen, you know, because you haven't achieved any results. You haven't won for us. And so that's why it's really important that you get in the game, you play the game. It's going to be tough. And so that's why I get some mates around here so you can all have a tangi at lunchtime and talk about your horrific board members, your horrific auntie and uncle, you know, that you've got to report to at your AGM. And in Te Arawa, our AGM season starts next month in August because we've got so many land trusts and incorporations. Mine is on the 17th of August. So, kia kaha whānau, I know exactly how you're feeling. You know, so that's the thing is that to get mandate, to keep mandate, you've got to stay in the game. Okay, when you're in the game, like with rugby, you know, I just turned up because I was the only one that knew how to kick, you know, so I turned up, the touch girl said, hey, we'll stay fit, you know, over the season, it'll be great. First season, I was like, this is not great. It's not great fun. Oh my God, I'm so sore. But the bus trips were amazing. You know, yeah, I know you're all laughing, because you all know those bus trips. I know. You know, and so the thing is that find the thing that gives you joy in it when you're in the fight. You know, find the thing that is fun. So for me, for the first 2 years for Rotoiti Women's Rugby, and we did win whānau, so, you know, we're not just a bunch of, we win the boat races. We did that later on, but, you know. And so you've got to find that thing that makes it fun for you to stay in. Find that one thing, you know, are you looking to make a change? Do you want to have increased engagement with your whānau? How do you do more stuff? And then you actually must win. Okay, you've got to, if you've ever been blessed, not that I think this ever happens to anyone outside of Te Arawa, but if you've ever been blessed to actually inherit an organisation that financially is going backwards, don't put up your hands. Don't put up your hands. Okay? No, keep them down, whānau, keep them down. If there are any whānau here from Te Arawa, I'm sorry, aroha mai, come and see me later, and, you know, I'll get you a coffee. You know that actually that's really tough, you know, to stay in the game because you think, oh my God. And I'll share a story. I ended up on the Wairinga East Western Corporation, and I've said their names, so sorry, Uncle, or my uncles. You know, my uncles are really hoha with me. They call me Karen. It's true. Now, you know, Karen evokes, you know, all sorts of emotions, right? But actually, my whānau never call me by my Pākehā name. They only call me tātai whetū or tātai. So I know when I'm in trouble because my uncle calls me Karen at the meetings. You know, so anyway, my mum, she goes to me, babe, you know, we need you to go on the trust. Da, 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 da. I said, oh yeah, no, sweet, mum. So I'd been to the AGMs, you know, for the last 3 or 4 years. I thought, oh, we raise her. And so anyway, I get on there and I go to Mum, did you know that we've got a few issues? She goes, yes, of course I knew. That's why I put you on there. So we've all got those stories. So again, to earn the mandate, you've got to receive the mandate, earn the mandate. You've got to stay in the game. You've got to improve your skills. Okay, so if you rock up to rugby training and you can actually only pass one way, that's really bad, right? Okay, so if you rock up to your board meetings and you don't understand the basics of, responsibilities of being on a board, then it's okay, whānau, talk to someone. As I said, there's like heaps of brainy people here. I can actually see some of you. I've already got your names written down, go and see so-and-so. So you must understand finance, you must understand risk. The other thing that a lot of us don't understand is that, if we're in financial trouble, guess what? Nobody told, I'm going to tell you this today. You are blessed because it's your responsibility. Isn't that amazing? So again, when you start talking to your trustees about that, and they go, oh my God, no, I just came on here because, the whānau voted me on. No, actually, whānau, you are financially responsible for that. And if all turns to custard, guess what? You're selling your home. I know. But, those are all the things that we need to understand, which is why we must win. So if you're in financial trouble, just get yourselves back to zero. Okay, if you've been blessed to come into a fantastic organisation that is moving forward, don't just sit there and go, boom, I've landed, I'm on it now. I get paid like $500 a month, bro. And then when you're really amazing, I get paid $2,000 a month. Mate, I've rocked it. Well, you can't just sit there and enjoy the pūtea, right? You've actually got to get some results. Okay, and that's what ensures that you keep getting the mandate, because people know you want your name to be synonymous with results. Okay, don't be that guy, and we all know, and I'll talk about one of my own. I had an uncle, he would be on every committee. I know, see, you're laughing, too, right? He would be on every single committee. I love my uncle because he was really staunch whorotuiti. He would go on every committee. But, you're sitting there thinking, I don't know, I think Uncle thinks he's at a different committee meeting because actually everything he's talking about is not quite what's on our agenda. So again, make sure that you're in the game, that you're playing the game because you want to win. When I think about, and if I think about, Paihina Māori, my uncle Barnett Vercoe is our chairman. My uncle is so frugal. I think we get paid like $130 every 2 months. I don't know, something like that. He's really frugal. But I really love my uncle because he makes sure that he stays on top of things. He makes sure that we understand the history of that whenua. And that's another thing, I was on the CNI board, which was the most amazing learning experience for me, having really 8 dynamic, full-on iwi coming together to talk about a kaupapa. And so actually being on there and listening, and each of those iwi board members, they could actually talk about the whenua. They knew all of the, they knew all the way that was on that whenua. And, again, if you're going to be on the team and playing on the team, and you actually have not been on your whenua, you don't know your whenua, you don't understand all the different history of that whenua, you don't know the history of your organisation you're on, then what I would say is that you are a classic candidate for the Senior B rugby team. It's a good place to start, whānau. Senior Bs, it's a great place to start. But again, that's where you want to be, right? Okay? And so that's why it's really important that you get in the game, that you play the game, and that you achieve the results. And that is what will ensure that you keep getting asked to go on boards, because you become synonymous with results. Now, one of the things, this was a little bit controversial, but I thought no one's going to jump on the stage because I can run away probably faster than any of you, if I say this really wrong. It's not an ego trip, whānau. It was actually an ego trip for me to be the chair of the Data Iwi Leaders Group, if I wanted it to be. It's an ego trip for me to be the first wahine Māori who is the chair of Te Pūmautanga o Aotearoa. Okay, but actually, if that's your driver, I give you full authority to go outside, give yourself a slap, and then come back in. Okay, gently. Okay, so again, these are all the things that you come up with, and I don't have all the time to talk about, what is your emotional game, very similar to rugby. Anyone can train and be fit, right? But you look at our girls this morning under massive pressure, and yet they still manage to stay calm. You can be at an AGM. I've actually been at these AGMs, and it's really funny because when I first got nominated as the chair, and rightly so, none of our queers and some of our karawa didn't know who I was, so actually they had the right to challenge me and test me. But again, I didn't get hit, and then thought, I've got to get off this ball because it's so hard. No, I actually stayed in the game, got a few more hits, and then actually really worked on what the results were that I needed to have for my whānau. And so again, actually, this is the stuff that we need to do. A couple of things before I wind up, and then take a photo, a group selfie. No, I won't do that. A couple of things before we finish up is I really want to talk about courage. And so this is, I guess probably one of the, might be the slight edges that I have in terms of why I keep getting asked to go on governance boards. And just recently, I've been asked to stand for 2 of my iwi boards, which I'm very honoured, to have been asked again. But you've actually got to make courageous decisions. And don't go, not that I think this has happened to any of you, but don't go, when there's a really topical kaupapa, and you go, cuss. You say it. You say it. No, you say it. Actually, that's when you need to say something, right? And when you need to say something because in your puku, you're starting to get that, I cannot sit here anymore. And then for some of you, like me, I actually get really hot, so I start sweating. And then, it's like, no, I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to listen to the way they were talking to me because actually I don't want to do that. It's so uncomfortable. I don't want to be that guy in the meeting. So you must have those courageous conversations. Now, when I was younger, I was a bit of a shocker because I was straight out the gate going, Uncle, actually, I don't know that you're qualified to say that. I was that guy. That guy that's on the board, because I know, because I've got a master's degree, blah, 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 blah. So again, you must be strong enough to have those courageous conversations, and particularly when you're actually dealing with the Crown, or also with, a Pākehā commercial company, or any international commercial company for that matter. Don't be the big talker. Dude, I am on the board, I'm so awesome. And then you get to do a negotiation before the Crown, and you're going, hey, can you say it? I don't want to say it. Come on, can you say it? Okay? And we all know you fellas that are laughing have been in that space. So you must say the things that are really hard to say. Now, if you need to, say it, well, no, not if you need to. You must say it nicely, because you've got to remember that actually you're probably likely to talk to those same people, okay, at another time in a different space. Even when you deal with, kind of the deputy chief executives or some of the lower level staff, just understand that they will come back to you. And we all know that saying, is that the ass that you're kicking on the way up is the ass that you're licking on the way down. I know, that's horrible, right? That's a horrible thing to end on, right? But you actually have to remember those things. So whānau, just before we finish, I just want to say, if you've ever been invited to be in the game, of which you all have, so take a bow, make sure you get on the field and play the game, but you must achieve some results. Rauranga tira mā, tēnā tātou, tēnā tātou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Amazing.